First off, just very excited about where we're at right now. Obviously, off to a good start with the 3-1, and getting that first conference win was really big for our football team. It was a game that we challenged our team with to make a statement. And we knew we had to go into that game being blue collar. We had to be disciplined and we had to be tough. It was a hard-fought game that went toe-to-toe. Arkansas State is a really good football team, and after watching the film and really looking at it again, no doubt in my mind that Arkansas State is really good. And so very proud of our guys, very proud of our coaches, proud of our staff for putting together a nice game plan and really coming to play hard and finishing it off. So excited about that. Looking forward to moving on to the next conference game.
Coach, on Saturday night, you talk about how big of a win it is that you'll celebrate it, but you mentioned even then that come Sunday afternoon you switch into the new game week. What's the coaching process of taking a bunch of guys who are about as enthusiastic as they've been in a couple of years and getting them back on the track for prepping for South Alabama?
Well, we're in a position right now that we haven't been in a while, and that was the first thing that we started talking about on Sunday. Again, a lot of the way we're doing things now, where we come in, Sunday has normally been our off day in the last few years. We come in now on Sundays, we do our team meetings, we do our special teams meeting, we do our lift, and we actually go out and practice. And then Mondays are our off days. I think that's very important for this football team, that after each game we come in and we put it away right away. And we talked about that. Right now there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of energy, a lot of people patting us on the back, and I told them, you enjoy it, you deserve that, but as soon as that's over, we got to put it away and we got to move on.
You guys are used to being, at least over the last year and a half or so, you've used to being the underdog in most games. This week, you're the favorite. It's a different mindset, I would imagine, for a lot of these kids, and you've kind of alluded to it. How do you keep them from not having a letdown the week after something like that?
We got to go each and every week. We can't take anything for granted. We got to make sure that we have an edge, a chip on our shoulder, whatever you call it. And I don't think winning 3 football games is what this team wants. I think this team wants to do more than that. And I don't think it's going to be hard to reel them in and go, hey, we got to get ready every week. They've been very good about locking in each week on their opponent, locking in on what they have to do each day. And I don't expect anything different out of our guys.
Coach, on a personal level and on a coaching level, you've believed in this team since the minute you took over and back since your days as an assistant. Is there a feeling of validation for you to know that everyone else now believes in these kids the way you've always believed in these kids?
Validation, again, we've only won 3 football games. Last year we won 2. So we got a lot more work to get validated. Yes, I believe in these kids, and I'm glad that people are starting to believe in them. And I do think they can do something special, but we'll save the validation to more wins.
You got South Alabama this week. Last year, you pounded them. Your first victory here. Obviously, they're going to be looking for revenge. What kind of game do you expect out of South Alabama?
I expect their best game. I know they have a coaching change, and new head coach is a really good coach. He's everywhere he's been, he's won, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Campbell and what he does. And there's no reason that I would think that they would not be ready and then they would not come in and play their best game.
Coach, you talked about it after the game Saturday night about the power of Paulson and what it meant to have the fan base here. But there's definitely plenty of seats available and plenty of room to get on the bus, so to speak. How important is it to have as many fans here, especially for a homecoming game, and it's the next game?
Again, it's we say it every week. We feed off that energy. We feed off the power of Paulson. That's 190 victories in that place now and only 39 losses. And when you start talking about 83% win percentage, it has a lot to do with, obviously, the players. It has a lot to do with the coaches. It has a lot to do with the work we put into it. But it has a lot to do with Eagle Nation coming out and us being able to feed off what they do. So, again, I would love to see us break the record. I'd love to see us pack this place out and have one more than we've ever had here. So hopefully that'll happen. we're going to encourage it and try to keep that thing rolling.
Coach, on Saturday, there were a few Eagles down on the turf there, especially it seemed like the inside linebacker position really had to dig deep down on the depth chart, and you mentioned a couple of freshmen coming up big. Now, given some time to evaluate it, how is the health, and also, how confident is the coaching staff about the ability of guys who may have been farther down on the depth chart to come up and play if you need them?
Well, we knew going into this game we were going to be a little bit wounded, especially at the inside linebacker spot. Tamarcio and Chris Harris didn't get to play at all. And then unfortunately, Todd Bradley had an injury, which, he's getting an MRI today, and we'll know a little bit more on where he's at right now once we get those results back. But very proud of the young guys, very proud of them stepping up. We've always talked about next man up, and they did a really good job of coming in there and there's no letdown. They came in and played hard, and, not always perfect, but putting the effort in and making sure that that nothing there's just no letdown once they get into a ball game.
Coach, you scored 10 touchdowns in 12 red zone trips this year. It's one of the best marks in the Sun Belt. What's made this offense so good at finishing off drives with 6 points once you get in that red area?
I think it's the mentality type thing. It's something that we practice. We put them in situations where during practice we'll start out with a 2nd and 8 and play the series out. We'll go 2nd, 3rd, 4th down. And again, that's offense versus defense. That's good on good. So that's something that's helped our offense and our defense, just being in that competitive situation and just challenging them to go ahead and finish it off with 6 points and not settling for a field goal.
Coach, Georgia Southern and you have gained national attention in recent weeks, and can you speak on how good that feels compared to this time last year and the motivation that comes from that?
I think it's good. Obviously, anytime that we can get the Georgia Southern name out there and get it out nationally, that helps with recruiting. That's something that I have to pay close attention to with our guys and make sure that we don't let that get too far above our heads with our current players and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, Georgia Southern is a very proud program, and anytime that we can get it out there nationally and be able to talk about it, it's a great thing.